Johnny Depp has always been known for his enigmatic presence, unpredictable demeanor, and the mystique that follows him wherever he goes. Over the years, he's granted few interviews, and when he does, they're often headline makers. So, when it was announced that Depp would appear on Jimmy Kimmel Live to promote his latest independent film project, the buzz was immediate. Fans were thrilled to see him back on mainstream television, and the media anticipated a rare, candid appearance. However, behind the cameras, things weren't going as smoothly. According to close production sources, Depp had arrived early at the studio, seemingly in good spirits, but became irritated upon learning about some of the planned questions and comedic segments. He reportedly asked that certain personal topics, especially anything relating to past legal issues, be kept off limits. Jimmy Kimmel's producers gave vague reassurances, but word inside the studio was that Jimmy intended to test those boundaries for the sake of entertainment. That decision would soon backfire in the most dramatic way possible, leading to a live TV meltdown that no one on set or at home would ever forget. From the moment Depp walked onto the set, it was clear he was playing it cautious. He wore his signature hat and tinted glasses, his body language relaxed yet guarded. The crowd erupted in applause, many standing to greet the legendary actor, but Johnny only gave a slight nod. Jimmy welcomed him with a handshake and a warm smile, but the energy between them felt slightly awkward, almost forced. As they began talking, the first few minutes covered safe ground. Johnny's latest film, his musical collaborations, and some light talk about his life in France. The mood began to shift, however, when Jimmy casually mentioned Johnny's eventful few years, referring vaguely to his legal battles. Johnny raised his eyebrows slightly, clearly caught off guard. He responded briefly and attempted to pivot. Back to the film. Jimmy chuckled and said, "Come on, Johnny, you can't expect me not to go there a little." The audience laughed nervously, but Depp didn't. The air shifted noticeably as Depp's tone dropped and his body stiffened. It was at this point that Depp calmly but firmly responded, saying he had made it clear beforehand that he came on the hallway show to talk about his work and not his personal battles. Jimmy, perhaps misjudging the tone, responded with another joke, saying, "You've got to admit, it's hard not to talk about the drama when your life's been wilder than most movies." Depp didn't laugh. Instead, he leaned forward slightly and said, "I think what's wild is being invited on a show under the pretense of mutual respect, only to be baited for entertainment." The audience grew silent. Jimmy, still smiling, but visibly taken aback, tried to smooth things over by making a self-deprecating joke. But Depp remained serious. "I'm here because I respect your platform," he continued, "but I won't be turned into a punchline for a few extra likes." The audience let out an audible murmur, unsure how to react. Kimmel looked toward the camera for a brief moment, as if wondering whether to switch topics or lean in. What followed next shocked even the production crew. Johnny Depp slowly began removing his mic, quietly setting it down on the armrest of his chair. Jimmy asked, "Wait, are you leaving?" Johnny replied, "I didn't come here for this." Jimmy, caught between confusion and trying to maintain the show's pace, asked the audience to give Depp a round of applause. But Johnny remained composed and turned to the crowd. "Thank you for your love and support," he said. "This wasn't what I came here for, but I appreciate the genuine ones in this room." And with that, he stood up and calmly walked off stage. Jimmy sat silently for a few seconds before forcing a laugh and saying, "Well, folks, you never know what'll happen live." But his face betrayed his embarrassment. The moment went viral within minutes, with social media lighting up with clips and reactions. The show quickly cut to commercial, but the damage had been done. The incident had just begun its wildfire spread across the internet. Backstage, the situation was tense. Depp's team reportedly requested that the interview segment not be aired, while Jimmy's producers argued over how much to keep and how to frame the narrative. Meanwhile, Twitter exploded with hashtags like Depp vs Kimmel and Johnny walks out. Fans split into camps, some praising Johnny for maintaining his dignity, others criticizing Jimmy for pushing boundaries under the guise of humor. Within hours, the clip had been uploaded to multiple platforms, racking up millions of views and sparking widespread debate. Media outlets released headlines such as "Johnny Depp storms off live TV" and "Talk show meltdown of the year." The studio remained quiet for the rest of the night, and Jimmy Kimmel himself offered no personal comment outside of the brief, awkward on-air moment. The entire production was left scrambling for damage control, trying to assess whether the incident would tarnish the show's image or, ironically, boost its ratings thanks to the controversy. The following morning, both camps released statements. Depp's team issued a composed message stating, "Johnny has always valued artistic integrity and respectful discourse. His intent was to discuss his creative work. He regrets that the conversation was redirected against prior agreements and chose to exit rather than engage in confrontation." Jimmy's team, in contrast, shared a lighter-toned post. "Live TV comes with surprises. We respect Johnny and wish him well." But Jimmy himself avoided any direct acknowledgement of the walk-off. On his next episode, he returned to his usual monologue format, briefly referencing the incident by saying, "We had a guest storm off this week. Guess I'm more intimidating than I look." The audience chuckled, but many online found the joke dismissive and passive-aggressive. Debate continued to swell across media platforms. Analysts began questioning whether talk show humor was becoming outdated, especially when it brushes up against genuine trauma or legal battles. In the days that followed, other celebrities and talk show hosts weighed in. Some defended Johnny, noting how interviews often exploit sensitive past events for viral moments. Others sided with Jimmy, arguing that public figures should expect tough questions and jokes as part of the gig. The entertainment world seemed divided, and so did audiences. Opinion pieces were published on entertainment websites, and YouTube was flooded with reaction videos. Even fans of Kimmel admitted that he may have crossed a line by bringing up past controversies that Depp had clearly asked to avoid. Meanwhile, Depp resumed his press appearances, though he kept them limited to interviews with respected journalists and hosts known for deeper, long-form conversations. Every question he was asked seemed more respectful now, as if everyone had learned something from what happened on Jimmy's show. And even though the topic slowly began to fade from trending pages, the memory of the clash lingered in the public consciousness. It became clear over time that this wasn't just a momentary television mishap. It sparked a wider discussion about the ethics of entertainment. Where does one draw the line between lightheartedness and provocation? Should producers be more accountable when guests set clear boundaries? The fallout from Depp's walkout showed how unpredictable and real celebrity interviews could be when trust is broken. It also forced viewers to reconsider the role of talk shows in a digital age, where one viral moment can outweigh months of artistic work. For Johnny, the incident solidified his image as someone who values respect above attention. For Jimmy, it became a reminder that even seasoned hosts must evolve with the times or risk losing credibility. The clash wasn't just personal, it was cultural. It symbolized a growing divide between old-school entertainment and a new era of authenticity and accountability. And that clash, more than the walk-off itself, was what truly captured global attention. Despite the tension, both Depp and Kimmel continued their respective careers. Depp's film received critical praise and decent box office numbers, helped, perhaps by the increased visibility from the incident. Kimmel's ratings saw a brief spike due to curiosity, but audience polls showed a dip in his likability afterward. Over the months, the incident was referenced in comedy skits, podcasts, and award shows, sometimes mockingly, sometimes thoughtfully. Some called it a necessary confrontation, others called it an overreaction, but most agreed it highlighted the shifting dynamics in public storytelling. Celebrities were no longer willing to be passive participants in formats that dehumanize them for laughs. Depp, known for his eccentric roles and public struggles, came out of it with more dignity than many expected. And while he never addressed the incident again, his silence spoke volumes. Sometimes walking away says more than staying to argue.